Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Today we are taking a look at the OBXD AUV3 synth. It's based on the Oberheim OBX synthesizer. And it is epic, of course. It comes with millions of sounds. This is going to be a full tutorial on how to program the synth though, so if this is your thing, then carry on watching. But find all the sounds it comes with, and there are loads. Click on this little toaster icon here, and you can go to banks and choose a bank, like for instance, I don't know, this one. And then click on here to see what's in that particular bank. Okay, so this is just one bank, and if we choose one sound or whatever you. Okay, now it doesn't have effects. I'm going to go to another bank. I'm going to go to blank canvas, which I've already started adding stuff in. I'm going to choose this #1 default patch. And it's just this, it has two saw waves. Now, it has two oscillators. As you see, it's laid out in a bit of a weird way. It's very powerful, but it doesn't have any effects, like I said. So you have your volume, your master control here, volume. This VAM switch is to do with the legato. So when I'm in unison mode, right, and I hold a C and play notes below that C. And then if I hold that same C and play notes above, you'll hear there are no notes. So if you switch VAM on, you'll have legato in both directions. Okay, so let's go back off unison. So up to 8 voices here, and will spread those voices, which will just slightly detune them. At the top here you have portamento, which is polyphonic. Below all this, you have, let me just bring up some cutoff here. Then you have these two switches. Now, if I use my pitch bend wheel on the little key step, you'll hear it'll go up 2 semitones. These don't need to be switched on for that. If I switch this one on, what it will do is it will hold one of the oscillators, I think. Let me see. It holds oscillator 1 and bends oscillator 2. Let's switch this off a sec. And if I switch this on, it bends both oscillators up an octave, and then it will bend only oscillator 2 up an octave and hold oscillator 1. Right, okay. So that's just explaining that. Below this we have our cutoff. I'm going to put that back onto saw, and just for now I'm going to turn that oscillator down in the mix. Resonance, let's turn that up a little bit. Okay. Below you have key tracking. So I'll play a high note and you'll hear it's brighter. Let's turn this portamento off. And as I go down the keyboard, this is going to get darker. And I need to go. So it gets brighter and brighter as we go up. Okay, so key tracking is very popular. This is high quality setting. You probably won't hear any difference. It's a multi-mode filter, so we can sweep through. Now we're in high pass and anywhere in between. Then we have our, then we can go band pass, sorry. And we can change it from a 12 dB slope to a 24. Oh, you have different settings for the legato as well, so you can play with those. So that's your filter. Then we go to envelopes. We've got modulation, and our oscillators are here, but modulation here we'll get to in a sec. Now we have our volume envelope, our loudness, and our filter envelope here. So if we control, let's give it some cutoff. Now we won't hear anything initially. I'll just make a few adjustments here, and as I bring up the envelope, you'll hear this filter take effect. And then this is our normal ADSR for the volume. Now the modulation wheel, I'll push the modulation wheel up on the key step. Modulation rate is controlled here in the voice variation mode section. Take the mod wheel back down. Okay. So have a quick look. Before we get into this, is very cool, the voice variation section. Awesome stuff. So now we have our LFO. Now this is a bit odd as well, right? So you choose the LFO shape and you can mix and match all of them. Let's stick with a sine wave and let's push the rate up and nothing will happen. What we need to do is tell the LFO what we want to do. Now we have turned oscillator 2 down here. Okay, we also have a noise. We've turned oscillator 2 down and we're going to bring up the depth for oscillator 1. And this is the rate. We also have square and sample and hold. Okay, cool beans. Then we have pulse width. Okay, so pulse width is only going to work on a pulse wave. So let's turn this into a pulse. Okay. Let's assign it to the oscillator 1 and adjust the pulse width and give it a sine wave. This won't make any difference now because this is to do with the frequency modulation. But we could mix and match. Very cool. It's a super rich and deep synth. Right, let's just reset those. like this. And let's just go back and let's leave it on that. It's another default patch, it's fine. Okay, let's look at let's open our cutoff. The oscillator section is very, very, very cool and very powerful. Right, so we have 2 oscillators and a noise, right? And then we have all these other cool controls. Right? If we turn our saw off here, looks like there's no oscillators switched on, but you'll see it gives us this triangle. Okay, and there's 2 of them now. You can hear it when we bring this. This is our frequency control for oscillator 1 and 2. So let's take this up an octave. Okay, then we can go up. And anywhere in between. Okay. So this triangle is lovely. If we put a bit of release on this. It's really nice. Let's do something with our filter. Let's give it some. Set these the same. But what we can do is we can mix in the other oscillators as well. So we could put a pulse in there, a saw in there, a pulse and a saw in here. Let's take this off and leave this on saw and this on pulse. We also have a noise. Now, if we use our pulse width, just our pulse width, not our pulse width modulation, we're just adjusting the width of the square wave, the pulse wave here. Then we can choose to modulate it if we want to with a sine wave. Very nice. We also have noise. Now, this is very subtle, the brightness control. You may not even hear it. But it's there. Cross modulation will modulate oscillator 1 against oscillator 2. Let me just put this on some sustain. And we'll turn this off. So it's very dissonant if you go a lot. This detunes oscillator 2. You may have heard when they were both on saw, they were slightly beating, they were pulsing. This is the detune, but you can have them locked in. Okay. Next, we look at pitch envelope, right? So pitch envelope is directly related to our envelopes down here. And in particular, our filter envelope. So let's take these down. Let's take the envelope down for the filter. Let's turn pitch up. See? But watch. If I take the attack up now, take this and this up, this down. That doesn't mean you still can't employ the filter envelope as well. So if we give that some filter envelope now, it's going to be affecting the pitch, and also the filter envelope is going to be affecting the pitch mod. So we're pitch modulating the filter and also the pitch with this envelope here. So we could go like this. We'll give it loads of cutoff, loads of envelope. So loads of uses for that. Let's take this down to around here. Let's turn our pitch envelope off. Now, like I said, that's going to sound really dissonant, right? But what we want to do is lock this into sync. So we're hard syncing oscillator 1 with oscillator 2. Switch this on now. Frequency on oscillator 1 will control the frequency, it will control the pitch. This will now not control the pitch, but you'll get that cool sync. It's for saw as well, and also for the very cool triangle waves. Now, what we can do is we can modulate this with our LFO. So maybe if we start with a sine and we go, right, I'm going to modulate the frequency of oscillator 2 and put some. But we could do it with a square or sample and hold. We could modulate the pulse width here as well, just for fun. But then we could mix and match these and get some very odd modulation. And do a bit of spread. Or put it into unison mode. So let's turn that off. So that's your sync. Now step is another one that's difficult to hear. But cross modulation now sounds really cool. So super wide range of tones available across the synth. Let's again just reset this to another default. So I've made adjustments there, so go to this one. This is defaulted to one with just our triangle, which is fine. That's what we'll use. Right, so I'm going to look at the voice variation mode. Let's switch these on to saw. And let's set these like this. Voice variation, right? Every time you press a key, you're triggering one of the voices of the OBX, right? So if we turn these 8 switches here hard left, what's going to do is every time I press a key, the voice is going to be panned. Okay, so each of the 8 voices, because it's an 8-note polysynth, will be panned. So now, and then on chords, it sounds the same. It's just using multiples. Now, you might not want to use it that extreme, but if we kind of set this a bit more subtly like this, we're going to get a very nice kind of stereo width kind of vibe going on. Okay, I'm going to turn off the source for this one, and I'm going to bring up the noise, and you'll hear the noises panning too. Now, hear this kind of classic Depeche. But there's something missing, right? And that is with the very cool feature of the voice variation with the OBXD, we can bring up the filter here. And every time I press a key, it's going to make a variation to the whole filter. So now we get this very cool effect. Now we could bring in a saw. Let's bring up the filter envelope for that as well. Loudness envelope is already on. So see what's happening now. It's making variations to the filter as well. If we had some glide going on, going to make variations to that as well. And then last but not least, we could bring the envelope up and makes variations to that as well while you're playing. So all in all, a really, really cool synth. Now we could as well, let's sync. Because the oscillators are synced now, we can play with all this cool stuff and it won't like freak the sound out. Still fully polyphonic, of course. So I mean, right out of the box, you can very quickly get some cool sounds. It was just understanding how it all kind of fit. No modulation used there at all. You know, if you wanted to create kind of classic let's take this now and make a kind of a brass type sound. Very cool. We could take that out, but in the background we've still got that triangle. We can mix that out as well. So now we're only hearing oscillator 1. Let's take that up. Bring a bit of noise in. And if you're finally happy, if you wanted to say save this, you just go into your toaster icon here and go rename, not save, because it'll just save over the default. Rename preset. We'll just call this prog brass. And then we go, okay, that's a done deal. And if we go to our menu here, I go to one of my others, like that. Or that's another one, and maybe the poly noise one, which is similar to the one I showed you. Now, of course, this because there's no effects on this works much better as an AUV3 when you put loads of effects on. So there'll be a slight cut here, and I will open this up in AUM and just put a bit of reverb on it. So here we are in AUM. I am going to put, this is that prog brass. I'm going to put some reverb on this. I'm going to use rack reverb, which is free. But you can really create something, just incredible patches. Okay, so if you've been watching this via Premiere, thank you very much. Bless you. Thank you for watching. Please drag the like, subscribe, consider becoming a patron. All that other cool stuff. I'm going to play for about another 5 or 10 minutes now, but I'm going to play some of the patches that come with it to give you a really good idea of what's possible when you spend time creating your sounds. I think the favorite one I made so far was that where is it, this poly noise thing, which sounds really good if I run a sequence. Anyway, top job. Anyway, like I said, all you need to do is go in here, go to banks, and there are tons of banks. We go to the FRM OBX8 patch book, click on this, choose anything we like, and play away. Right, guys, I'm going to close the microphone, and I'll see you later. Ta-da!